Did you have ACL surgery and you're getting back to running, jumping? One of the things you have to be working on the entire time is deceleration training. Because if you cannot land or control whatever you're jumping, running, it's gonna lead to injuries. My name is Dr. Marco Lopez, Doctor of Physical Therapy and co-founder of the Basketball Doctors. And we're gonna be going over decelerating training with cable resistance machines. We have a video on deceleration training without any equipment. You have to master that before you master this. And click the link above and it's gonna direct you to that video. But today we're really gonna be using resistance training with cables to really reinforce deceleration training, not only in the sagittal plane, but also in the lateral and transverse, because sport is played in all three planes of motion and we have to train our body to decelerate. The biggest thing that we kind of go by is, what's so good about having a fast car if you don't have great brakes on it? If you don't have good brakes on it or you don't know how to brake, it's gonna lead to accidents, which are injuries. So we're gonna be going over these deceleration drills with cable resistance machines to really reinforce these patterns. All right guys, we're gonna go over the deceleration training with the cable. So this exercise is very important on working on stability and deceleration before you start going to jumping, running, and different drills. So master this and you can increase the weight. So all you really need is a cable machine, because the cable is really gonna drive that deceleration force. And we're gonna go over in 3 different planes of motion and we're gonna kind of go step by step. But the most important thing, whenever you're landing or coming down, this knee has to be aligned with your second and third toe. We don't want the knee to come in, we don't want the knee to go too much to the outside. We want a good knee bend, good hip bend, and you're in this position when you're decelerating. So the first one is we're gonna be working on that sagittal plane, going forward and back. So you're gonna use a resistance cable. You're gonna start off nice and tall, and then you're gonna drop into a lunge, but you're letting the cable pull you. So I'm letting the cable pull me, then I'm gonna stick it, control it, and then from here, I'm gonna push back with my front leg. Back up. So I'm sticking, controlling, and pushing out. So this is mimicking you running, coming to a complete stop, then pushing back. Right now, focus on, as you land, working on those mechanics, bending at the knee, hip, letting that cable pull you, then you push back to really work on creating force to push you backwards. So that's the forward plane, the sagittal plane. We're gonna do the same thing. So that was on the right leg. We're gonna do the same thing, but this time we're gonna be working the lateral plane, but we're gonna be demonstrating with our left leg just for camera purposes. So here we're gonna be working our left leg. So we're gonna grab the cable with 2 hands, start off nice and tall. You're gonna drop into a lateral lunge. You're gonna let the cable pull you. You're gonna go into this position. You see how I'm aligned here, and then I push out. I wanna stop right before the cable goes here, so I can create some tension. Then I push out and come back to the starting position. So same thing, I'm bending at the knee, hip, then pushing out. So this is really gonna be working, if you're playing basketball, coming to a defensive stop and then pushing back the other way. So working that deceleration on the lateral plane. The last one is the rotational plane. So remember, we have to work all 3 planes. We did the first one sagittal, the one right before that is the lateral, now the rotation. So now we're gonna be working our right leg. So on this one, I am gonna be turning and going in this position and pushing out. So my left leg is pivoting, but I'm working my right leg, because this right leg, it starts off facing you, then it rotates to the cable machine, then pushes back to rotate back. So really focus on the same mechanics, bending at the knee, hip, then pushing out and stabilizing. So those are the 3 movements. So to kind of recap, the first one, you're gonna go forward, control that, push back. Then we're gonna go sideways, so this is just on the left leg, but do it on both legs. Sticking here, pushing out. Then we have rotation. And making sure your knees align with your second and third toe when you do these movements. Start off with the lightweight, then progress with that heavier weight, and then the biggest thing is I want you to increase, when you go heavier weight, this pull is gonna get harder, and you're really creating that, decelerating that force going that way. Hopefully you guys learned about deceleration training with this resistance training method. It's a great way to really put demand on the leg to really work on deceleration in all 3 planes of motion. If you guys have any questions regarding ACL recovery or if you're struggling with rehab and you wanna work with us, send us an email or comment below if you want different videos about ACL reconstruction, and we'll be happy to assist you or shoot those videos. We are the basketball doctors. Let's ball for life.